One more doubt.
Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we started our discussion related to what is EC2 service in the AWS and what is the purpose of EC2 service. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It is used to create virtual machines in the AWS cloud. In order to set up the infrastructure, we need virtual machines. To create those virtual machines, we are going for EC2. So in the EC2, there are several types of instances available, like on-demand instances available, reserved instances available, spot instances available, dedicated host instances also available. On-demand instances means whenever we need it, we can create and we can use them. Reserved instances means we can reserve a instance for 1 year or 3 years of time. Spot instances means bidding will be available. High configuration systems will come for less price. Those are called spot instances. And dedicated host instances available. Like you can take a physical computer from AWS to set up your infrastructure. These dedicated host instances are costly. Next one. In the EC2, there are families available. For your based on your requirement, you can choose one of the family member to set up your infrastructure. Family member nothing but instance type T2 family, T3 family, T1 family, C1 family, A1 family, R2 family, like that. There are several families are available. We are going for T2 micro. T2 micro is free tier eligible. That means first 1 year, monthly 750 hours, you can use T2 micro instances without paying anything. T2 micro will have 1 GB RAM. So if you want more memory, then you need to go for other family member. Only T2 micro free tier eligible, remaining instances are chargeable. When we are going for EC2 instance, EC2 instance state will be available. First, we are going to launch one instance. Once that instance launched, that instance will come to running state. Billing applicable for running state instances. Running means the instance which is currently running. For the instances which are running, billing will be applicable. So if you stop the instances, then billing will not be available for the instances. Then reboot, that means kind of restarting the instances. Terminate means we are going to destroy, we are going to delete the EC2 instances. Perfect. So we understood theoretically EC2 nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. It is used to create virtual machines, instance types available, and instance families are available, and instance states are available. And we need to remember the minimum billing period for EC2 instance is 1 hour. If you use for 5 minutes also, AWS will consider that as hourly billing will be available. For practice, we will use a T2 micro. For T2 micro, billing will not be available for first 1 year. Perfect. Now, how to launch one virtual machine using EC2? How to launching virtual machine using EC2? Guys, when we are launching virtual machine using EC2, internally several concepts will be used. First one is AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. AMI nothing but Amazon Machine Image. This AMI will provide the templates to launch our virtual machines. That means, do you want a virtual machine with Windows operating system? You want virtual machine with Linux operating system, with Ubuntu or with Mac? How? What machine you want? It will provide one template. So that means a free configured system will be given to you when you choose the AMI. So I want one Windows virtual machine in the AWS cloud. Then I will choose Windows AMI. Linux AMI. Linux several flavors are available. Suppose if you want to take Windows, then you will choose Windows AMI. Or if you want Linux AMI, Amazon Linux AMI is available. If you want Ubuntu, Ubuntu AMI available. If you want Red Hat Linux, Red Hat AMI is available. If you want Mac, Mac AMI is available. AMI stands for Amazon Machine image. Amazon machine image. It provides a template to launch virtual machine. It provides a template to launch our virtual machine. So what kind of virtual machine you want? Based on that, you choose the AMI. So you no need to set up the operating system for the virtual machine. Pre-configured templates are available to launch your virtual machines. The pre-configured templates are called as AMIs. That is the first thing. And second thing, it is going to provide EBS volumes. EBS volumes. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. For every machine, we need some storage. Now, when you are taking a virtual machine or a physical machine, for every machine, some storage is required. So the storage, we call it as hard disk or SSD. Whenever you purchase a laptop or you are purchasing a computer, they will tell you this laptop or this computer RAM is 4 GB, hard disk 500 GB, or RAM is 8 GB, SSD 250 GB. Like that, the configuration will be available. So here, the hard disk is used to store the data. The hard disk is used to store the data. So for every machine, either hard disk or SSD is required. So similarly, when we are creating a virtual machine, we need some storage for our machine. So for the EC2 virtual machine, who will provide the storage? How the storage will be available? The storage will be provided by EBS. EBS volume will be available by default. So the by default, EBS root volume will be attached to EC2 instance, nothing but virtual machine. If it is a Windows virtual machine, they will provide 30 GB space as a volume. If it is a Linux machine, they will provide by default 8 GB. So when you want to launch one virtual machine, we are going to select AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. It provides a template to launch the virtual machine. If you want a Windows machine, then you can select Windows AMI. If you want a Linux machine, you can select Linux AMI. If you want a Mac machine, you can select Mac AMI. So AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image, a pre-configured template, a predefined template to launch the virtual machine. So to launch virtual machine, we need some storage. Who is providing storage for our virtual machine? There is a concept called EBS. EBS is one service in the AWS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. By default, whenever you are launching a virtual machine, by default, EBS root volume will be attached to EC2 instance. Sir, what is the capacity of the root volume? If you are launching a Windows virtual machine, you will get 30 GB by default. You will get 30 GB by default. If you are launching Linux virtual machine, you will get 8 GB by default. We can increase volume size. We can increase volume size based on demand. If you want more capacity, you can increase that, no problem. Under a free tier, they are providing 30 GB as free space by default for Windows instances. They are providing 8 GB free space for Linux instances by using EBS root volume. Sir, can we increase this root volume capacity? If you want, you can increase. This is the default value they are giving under a free tier. Can I make it as a 100 GB? Yes, you can do. 30 GB will be free. Remaining 70 GB will be charged. Remaining 70 GB will be charged. Are you guys getting my voice? Are you guys getting my voice? Is it clear? Is it clear for everybody? Yep. So you understand what is AMI and what is EBS now? AMI represents a template to launch the machine. EBS represents a storage for our machine. For Windows, 30 GB is the default. For Linux, 8 GB is the default. Can we increase the size of our volume? Can we increase the size of our volume? Yes, we can increase the size of our volume. So that is root volume. Okay, the next one, EC2 service will internally use one more service called VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. What is this? Virtual Private Cloud. VPC will provide network for EC2 instances. If you want to connect to the EC2 instances, if you want to launch EC2 instance, we need a network. Which service will provide the network for our EC2 instances in the AWS? The network will be provided by a service called VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. VPC will provide a network for EC2 instances. So incoming and outgoing network will be available. All right. So VPC will provide network for EC2 instances. Without VPC, we cannot access our EC2 instances. I am launching my EC2 instance in the AWS cloud. I want to connect to that EC2 instance. So to connect with EC2 instances, we need network for that. We need network for that. To connect with EC2 instances, we need network. Who will provide the network for the EC2 instances? VPC will provide the network for EC2 instances. And the fourth one is security groups. Security groups will be available. Security groups are used to allow the incoming and outgoing traffic. Security groups are used to allow incoming and outgoing traffic. Security groups are used to allow incoming and outgoing traffic. Okay, so for Windows virtual machines, we need to use RDP protocol. RDP runs on 3389. If you are going for Linux machines runs on SSH protocol 22 port number. If you are going for HTTP HTTP web server, these HTTP web servers runs on the port number HTTP with the protocol as 80. If you are going for HTTPS, HTTPS protocol runs on 443 port number. If you are going for Apache Tomcat, so Apache Tomcat, it is a custom TCP. It runs on the port number 8080. Like this, we are going to enable security groups for our EC2 instances to allow the traffic. That means which request should be allowed for our EC2, what our EC2 can access outside. Inbound rules will decide incoming traffic. Inbound rules will maintain incoming traffic rules. Outbound rules will maintain outgoing traffic rules. Outbound rules will maintain outgoing traffic rules. Okay, who can access our EC2? What our EC2 can access will be decided by security groups, right? Security groups are used to allow incoming and outgoing traffic of our EC2. That means who can access our EC2, who can access our server, what protocol we need to allow, which protocol should be enabled to access our EC2. All that incoming traffic rules, outgoing traffic rules, we are going to configure in the security group. Have you seen on the roads? Four-wheelers are not allowed in this route. Eight-wheelers are not allowed in this route. Two-wheelers are not allowed in this route. Have you seen any such kind of boards on the roads? Four-wheelers are not allowed. Eight-wheelers are not allowed. Two-wheelers are not allowed. Have you seen that board? Yes. Only one-way traffic. Two-way traffic. Have you seen that kind of boards? Same thing. We are creating one EC2 instance in the AWS cloud. Who should access our EC2? That will be decided by security groups. Security groups are used to allow incoming and outgoing traffic. Inbound rules will maintain the incoming traffic rules. Outbound rules will maintain outgoing traffic rules. When we are working with EC2, if you are using a Windows machine, for Windows machines, we need to enable RDP protocol with the 3389 port number. RDP protocol runs on 338 port. If you are launching Linux machines, Linux runs on SSH protocol with the port number 22. If you are using a web server runs on the HTTP protocol with 80 port number. If you are using any security for your servers, HTTPS protocol should be enabled. HTTPS protocol will be enabled with 443 port number. Tomcat server, if you are using a Tomcat server in the EC2, Tomcat server runs on the custom TCP. For that, we need to enable 8080 port number. So like this, we need to configure inbound rules and outbound rules for our EC2 instances with a security group. Then the last important part is the key pair. AWS providing key pair to connect with EC2 instances securely. Key pair is kind of a lock. Key pair is kind of lock to secure our EC2 instances. When we launch one EC2 instance, we can select a lock for the EC2 instance by using key pair. Key pair is kind of lock to secure our EC2 instances. Key pair is used to connect with EC2. Key pair is used to connect with EC2 instances securely. I created one EC2 instance in my AWS account. Can you connect with my EC2 instance which I have created in my account? No, because I will secure my EC2 instance by using key pair. What is this key pair? Key pair is kind of a lock. Key pair is kind of a lock to secure our EC2 instances. Key pair is used to connect with EC2 instances securely. Key pair contains a public key and private key. Key pair is the combination of public key and private key. AWS will store the public key and will give private key to us. AWS will store public key and it will provide private key for us. Using this public key and private key, we can connect with the EC2 instances securely. Using public key and private key lock. Using public key and private key, we can connect with the EC2 securely. Are you guys getting my point? What is key pair? Key pair is kind of a lock. It is used to connect with the EC2 instances securely. Whenever we are launching EC2 instance, you need to choose one key pair for that. So that key pair is the combination of a public key and private key. So using this public key and private key, we can connect with the EC2 instances. Then what about security group? Security group is for others, the users. So we are launching our application in the EC2 instance. Who can access our application? Using which protocol they can access our application? The inbound traffic, outbound traffic, incoming traffic, outgoing traffic will be decided using security group. Inbound rules will be available, outbound rules will be available. So based on the requirement, we are going to enable the protocols in the inbound rules. Windows will use RDP protocol, port number 3389. Linux will use SSH protocol, port number 22. Web server will use a HTTP protocol, port number 80. HTTPS protocol will use 443 as a port number. Custom TCP for Tomcat, we are going to use 8080 port number. Based on the requirement, we need to enable these protocols and port numbers in the security group, incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. Next, VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. VPC is a service in the AWS which will provide the network for other services. So we are creating the infrastructure in the cloud. How can we connect to that cloud infrastructure? How can we operate that cloud infrastructure? To connect with the cloud infrastructure, we need internet. So who will provide internet for our services in the AWS? To provide the internet for our services in the AWS, there is one service called VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. VPC will provide a network for EC2 instances. To connect with EC2 instances, we need network for that. By using VPC, we can isolate our resources in the AWS cloud. Using VPC, we can isolate our cloud resources in AWS. That means whatever the resources I created in the AWS in my account, whatever the resources you created in your account cannot communicate with each other, separate. My resources, your resources will be completely separated by using VPC. Isolated network we will provide for our resources in the cloud. My application is deployed in my AWS account. You have deployed a database in your AWS account. Can my application connect with your database? No, because isolation. So there is a separation between your cloud resources and my cloud resources. Who will separate your cloud resources and my cloud resources? That's where VPC comes into picture. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. VPC will provide a network for our EC2 instances. The next one is EBS. What is the purpose of EBS? EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. EBS will provide the volume for storage purpose. For every machine, we need some storage. So who will provide the storage for our EC2? Storage is providing by EBS volume, Elastic Block Store, Windows 30 GB, Linux 8 GB. We can increase volume size based on the demand. Under free tier, for Windows you will get 30 GB, for Linux you will get 8 GB. If you want, you can increase that. Volumes are like a hard disk, volumes are like a pen drives. You can say that. Next one, AMI. So AMI nothing but Amazon Machine Image. This AMI will provide a template to launch the virtual machine in the AWS cloud. So if you want Windows virtual machine, Windows AMI. If you want Linux virtual machine, you can use Linux AMI. If you want Mac machine, Mac AMI is available. We can create our own AMIs also. We can create our own AMI also, and we can use it for future purpose. I will create my own AMI and I will use my AMI to launch my virtual machine. EC2 service, EC2 service will use EC2 service will use below concepts or below components. EC2 service will use below components to provide virtual machines for us. EC2 service will use below components to provide virtual machines for us. AMI, EBS, VPC, security groups, and key pair. Are you guys clear with this? Yeah, just read these points. How to launch a virtual machine using EC2. EC2 service will use below components to provide virtual machines. AMI, a template will be provided to launch. EBS, a volume will be provided for storage purpose. VPC, it will provide a network. Security group, to allow incoming and outgoing traffic. Inbound rules, outbound rules will be available. Key pair is a kind of lock to secure our instances. Key pair is used to connect with EC2 instances. Public key will be available, private key will be available. Using that public key and private key, we can connect with EC2 instances securely. So if we summarize all these things, I want to launch one virtual machine by using EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. By using this EC2, I want to create one virtual machine. So the very first thing that we need to do to create a virtual machine, we need to choose one key pair for this. Let us choose one key pair, create one key pair, okay, and choose a security group. Create one security group and keep it ready. Now, key pair I'm going to create. public key will be available and private key will be available. Public key will be available and private key will be available. And for this EC2, there will be one AMI, Amazon machine image will be available. It will provide a template. And in order to create this machine, we need a storage. The storage will be provided by EBS. AMI will be available and EBS also will be available. Key pair, security group, AMI, EBS. Next one, VPC. What is this VPC? VPC will provide a network for our EC2 instance. Right. So in order to create one EC2 instance, these are the services or these are the components which are using internally. All right. So EC2 will use a key pair. EC2 will use a security group. Key pair will be available. Security group will be available. AMI we are going to use. EBS we are going to use. VPC also we are going to use. EC2 virtual machine we are going to create by using these concepts. Now here key pair, it is a combination of a public key and private key. Public and private key. Public key and private key. Public key will be available in the AWS. Private key it is going to provide for us. Now security groups. Security groups will decide inbound rules and outbound rules. Inbound rules and outbound rules will be available in the security group. AMI, it provides template, pre-configured template to launch the machine. EBS will provide the volume, storage. Volume, nothing but it is a storage. Then what about VPC? VPC, nothing but it is a network. It will provide the network for our EC2 instances. So EC2 VM, it is also called as a virtual machine. It is called as a virtual machine. It can be called as one instance also. It is called as a virtual machine and it can be called as a instance also. Virtual machine or instance, anything is fine. Anything is fine. So creating EC2 instance involves all these steps. Creating EC2 instance involves all these steps. Are you clear? What is the security group for Windows? What is the security group we need to use for Windows? What is the protocol? RDP. RDP protocol runs on which port number? RDP protocol runs on which port number? 334. RDP protocol runs on which port number? 3389. If I want to create a Linux machine, what is the protocol I need to use in the security group for the Linux machines? SSH protocol. What is the port number for SSH protocol? 22. Perfect. So what is the difference between key pair and security group? What is the difference between key pair and security group? Guys, what is the difference between key pair and security group? Key pair is used to connect with the EC2 as an administrator. Security group is used for accessing the machine. Key pair is used to connect with the machine securely as admin to manage the service. Security group to allow the traffic which is coming from outside. Security group will maintain the rules to allow the traffic from outside. Key pair is used to connect with the EC2 as an administrator. What is the purpose of VPC? What is the purpose of VPC? VPC will provide a network to access the machine. What is the purpose of EBS? What is the purpose of EBS? Storage. What is the default storage for Windows machines? What is the default storage for Windows machines? 30 GB. What is the default storage for Linux machines? 8 GB. Can I increase the default capacity? Can I increase the capacity of the volume? Yes, we can increase the capacity based on the demand. What is the purpose of template? What is the purpose of AMI? What is the purpose of AMI? What is the purpose of AMI? AMI stands for? What is the full form of AMI? Amazon Machine Image. Image nothing but a template. Using the template, we can launch our virtual machines. Using AMI, we can launch our virtual machines. Using AMI, we can launch our virtual machines. Using AMI, we can launch our virtual machines. Yep, all of you, please review this diagram. Now I want to show you how to create one virtual machine. I want to create one virtual machine. Guys, here key pair we need to create. Security group will be available. We can change the rules of that. AMI is default, EBS default, VPC default. The only thing is we need to create a key pair and we need to configure the security group. AMI will be provided by AWS by default. You can use it. EBS also will be provided by AWS by default. A default VPC also provided by AWS. The only thing that we need to do is we need to create one key pair, and security group also will be available by default. We need to configure the rules. You can create your own security group. You can create your own security group. So to make it simple for the new people to learn the AWS, they provided a default AMI, they provided default EBS value, default VPC, default security group. They are available by default in the AWS. If you want, you can create on your own. So we are in the starting stages of our AWS, right? We will go with the default values. Only key pair we are going to create. Using that key pair, we will launch one virtual machine. All right, let's go to our AWS account. Let's go to our AWS account, login. With your email ID and password, you can connect to this AWS account, sign in. Sign in. First thing, you select your region because EC2 is a regional service. Mumbai region. I'm selecting the Mumbai. Mumbai is my nearest region. Then go to EC2 service. If you are not able to see the EC2 there, you can simply select EC2, type here. When you click on this star, it is like a bookmarking. When you click on the star, EC2 will be bookmarked. If I remove from here, that got removed from the bookmark. If I select, it is added to that bookmark. This is star. That means it is a favorite service. EC2. I added to the bookmark. Right. Click on EC2. So it is my EC2. You can see here how many instances are currently running, how many dedicated hosts are available, total how many instances I have created, how many elastic IPs I have, how many key pairs I have, how many load balancers, how many security groups, how many volumes, how many snapshots, the complete EC2 dashboard displaying what all the service, what all the resources I'm using. First, let me go to key pair. There are so many key pairs are available. I'm going to delete all these key pairs. I will keep only one key pair. That is my Linux key pair. I have deleted. So there is only one key pair available currently. You can create any number of key pairs, guys. Key pairs are not chargeable. You can create any number of key pairs. Key pairs are not chargeable. They are free of cost. Okay. So first I'm going to create one key pair. I'm giving the key pair name as Windows. You can give any name. Windows key pair I'm using, and I'm using extension .pem. Private key file format I'm using as a pem. If you want to use putty for Linux machines, we will use putty. For that, we will use ppk. But I'm trying to launch one Windows. So key pair name I'm giving as Windows. You can give any name for that. Windows RSA type, and key file format I'm using as .pem. Key file format I'm using as .pem. Create key pair. Guys, observe the moment I create a key pair, it downloaded a pem file, and you need to be very careful. This pem file is one time downloadable. If you lost this pem file, you cannot get it back. So is there any option that I can get the pem file back? I can't get the pem file back. So you should be very careful. You should be very careful when we are working with these key pairs. I created a key pair called Windows. When I create a key pair, my pem file got downloaded. So let us save this pem file in some place. Now here I have the pem file. I have saved it. I have a pem file for Linux. I have a pem file for Windows. Sir, is it recommended to create multiple pem files? Can I use one pem file for multiple instances? Yes, one pem file or one key pair you can use for multiple instances also, no problem. Whatever the pem file I'm creating, can I use the same pem file? Can I use the same pem file for Linux and for Windows also? Yes, of course you can do that. One key pair can be used for multiple EC2 instances also. One PEM file you can use for multiple types of instances also. For Windows and Linux, can I use the same PEM file? Yes, you can do that, no problem. One key pair can be used for multiple EC2 instances. How many EC2 instances we can create in one AWS account? Unlimited. It is elastic. If you want, you can increase. If you want, you can decrease. Yamuna Kumar. So there is no limit. You can create any number of EC2 instances in the AWS account. You can create any number of key pairs in the AWS account. Key pairs are free of cost. Key pair is a combination of public key and private key. Sir, with one key pair, can I launch multiple EC2 instances? Yes, you can do that. Okay, so first I have created a key pair. When I created a key pair, the PEM file is downloaded. If I delete this PEM file, can I download the same PEM file once again? If I delete the PEM file, can I download the same PEM file once again? If I delete the PEM file, if I lost the PEM file, can I download that once again? Come on. Yeah, no, we cannot download that. Yeah, RSA token. RSA is one of the algorithm name for the key pairs, guys. RSA is one of the algorithm name for the key pairs. RSA is a full form of Revest Shamir Elman. So these are the authors names who found that RSA algorithm for key pairs. RSA is the name of the algorithm. Got it? It is used for encryption. Key pair encryptions can be done by using RSA algorithm. That is one of the security mechanism. RSA tokens. All right. My key pair is created. My key pair is created. We are able to download the key pair. Key pair is one time downloadable. Next, go to security group. So there are so many security groups are already available. Default security groups are available. Can we create our own security groups also? Yes, see here, I'm creating my own security group. So here I'm giving the name as Axis Project Security Group. For this Axis Bank application, I'm creating one security group, Axis Bank Security Group. You can give any name for that. And when you are creating a security group, it is asking to select the VPC. Default VPC will be available. Default VPC will be available. Creating a security group. See here, a security group acts as a virtual firewall for your instance to control inbound and outbound traffic. To create a new security group, complete the fields below. Sir, can I create multiple security groups? Yes, you can. Security groups also free. Key pairs are free. Security groups are free. One security group you can use for multiple instances. One key pair you can use for multiple instances. These are free of cost. You can create multiple key pairs. You can create multiple security groups also. I'm creating one security group with a name called Axis Bank Security Group. Here, there are two types of rules. One is inbound rule, another one is outbound rule. Inbound rule will decide which traffic we need to allow to access our EC2. Outbound rule will decide what our EC2 can access outside of this cloud. Inbound rule. I'm using this security group for Windows, so I'm going to specify the port number RDP. RDP port is 3389, source anywhere. That means anybody can access this RDP protocol EC2 machine with the security group RDP. So currently there are no inbound rules available. Add a rule. I'm adding a rule for RDP protocol. RDP selected custom anywhere IPv4. Any IP address can access this EC2 with this RDP protocol. Outbound rules by default, all traffic is enabled in the outbound rule. By default, all traffic enabled in the outbound rule. In the inbound rule, only RDP enabled with the security group. Can you take the screenshot of this? What I am configuring as the inbound rule, what I am configuring as the outbound rule, take a screenshot. I will share this screenshot in the Telegram also. We have a Telegram group for this AWS batch. In that Telegram group, I will share it. Our group name is 05 AWS. Yep. So this screenshot and this screenshot also. Inbound rules for the security group, outbound rules for the security group I have shared. Perfect. So I am saving this security group. You can give a tag nothing but kind of a name. So I'm giving the name as Axis Bank Security Group. Just a name, tag name I am giving. Axis Bank Security is the group name. Axis underscore bank underscore security group. You can give any name. In the inbound, I enabled RDP, source anywhere, port 3389. Outbound rules, all traffic, default custom anywhere. Tag name, Axis Bank Security Group. Create the security group. Now go to security group, you see Axis Bank Security Group got created. In this security group is having a ID, and this security group having inbound rules and outbound rules. Inbound rule only RDP protocol. Outbound rule all the protocols, all traffic. With this, key pair is created, security group is also created. Key pair is created, security group is created. Key pair combination of public and private. Public key available in the AWS, private key I have downloaded, RSA token PEM file I have downloaded. RSA type .pem. RSA type .pem I have downloaded. Right. A key pair I created. Guys, I have a question. Can we use one key pair for multiple instances? Can we use one key pair for multiple instances? Yes. One key pair we can use for multiple instances. Can I use one security group for multiple instances? Can I use one security group for multiple instances? Yes, we can use it. So with this, as of now, what we have created, guys, with this, what we have created, what we have created now. Come on. We created a key pair and a security group. Key pair is used to connect with the machines securely as an administrator. Security group is used to allow the traffic, incoming traffic, outgoing traffic. So with this key pair and security group, let us create one virtual machine. Let us create one virtual machine. I want to create one virtual machine with a Windows operating system. I want a Windows virtual machine. I want a Windows virtual machine. Now observe carefully. What is the procedure I am going to follow? Observe carefully. What is the procedure I am going to follow? Once you go to EC2 service, you can see the dashboard. Now, currently there are 15 instances available, 15 machines available, but 0 machines are running. Now, let me launch one instance. See this, launch instance. When we are launching instance, it is asking, what is the name you want to give for that? What is the name you want to give for that? I want to give my Windows VM. I want to launch one Windows virtual machine using AWS. My Windows virtual machine, I'm giving the name. Next one, AMI. Choose the AMI. So you want to go with Amazon Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows. I want to select Windows. I'm going for Windows AMI. Windows AMI. Right? Windows Server, Microsoft Windows Server AMI, free tier eligible. It is free tier eligible. Root device is EBS. EBS volume is available. Root device is the EBS volume. You see here number of instances. How many Windows machines you want to create? By default one. I want to create one machine. What is instance type? T2 micro. Security group, new security group. Volume 30 GB storage. EBS volume 30 GB. EBS volume 30 GB. All right. Instance type, if you want, you can change. I'm not going to change because micro instance type is the free tier. Key pair, how you want to connect with the EC2? I'm selecting my Windows key pair. I have created the key pair. I have two key pairs. One is Linux, another one is Windows. I'm selecting Windows key pair. Then network settings. Which service will provide the networking? Which service will provide the network for EC2? VPC. Do we need to create the VPC or VPC already available? Do we need to create the VPC or VPC already available? VPC already available. That is a default VPC. A default VPC already available. Okay. Firewall settings, security group. Do you want to create a new security group or you want to select existing security group? I want to select existing security group. What is the security group I created? Access Bank security group I have created. So I have selected the key pair I have created. I have selected the security group I have created. Okay. Configure storage, EBS root volume. What is the default root volume we are getting? What is the default root volume we are getting for Windows? 30 GB. If it is a Linux, 8 GB. Can I increase the size from 30 to 40, 50, something like that? Can I increase? If I increase, what will happen? Bill will be generated. I'm not going to increase. I'm going with the default root volume, that is 30 GB. Okay. Advanced details, we don't need them as of now. So I'm not going to touch those things. Observe this. I want to launch one EC2 instance. My Windows VM. Name I have given. AMI, I selected Windows. Free tier eligible AMI. T2 micro instance. Key pair, Windows key pair I have created. Network, default VPC. I'm not creating any VPC. I have not created any VPC. I'm going with the default VPC for the network. Availability zone, I have not selected any availability zone. A default subnet will be selected. Security group, I have selected a security group Access Bank. In that I enabled RDP protocol. 30 GB default storage. Click on launch instance. Now, one virtual machine getting created in the AWS. In my AWS account, I created one virtual machine with Windows AMI. Whenever a virtual machine created, the state you can observe, it is in the pending state. That means the machine is getting ready. The machine is getting ready. Once the machine got created successfully, you can see the instance state running. That means this machine is currently in the running state. You can select, you can see which key pair we used for this machine. which security group we used for this machine, when this machine got created, what is IP address, which availability zone, what is instance type, what is instance state, what is instance ID. All the details you can monitor. When you select the instance, it is displaying the instance details. Guys, observe carefully. When we create the instance, AWS will provide two IP addresses. One is a public IP, another one is a private IP. Private IP will be used by AWS for internal purpose. Public IP is available, which is used to connect with the EC2. If I want to connect with the EC2, I need to use a public IP. I cannot connect with the EC2 using private IP from outside. Private IP will be used by AWS internally. We will talk about the private IPs when it comes to VPC service, not now. So currently, which IP we are going to use to connect? Currently, which IP address we are going to use to connect? Public IP we are going to use or private IP we are going to use? Are we going to use the public IP or we are going to use the private IP? Public IP. Why we are using public IP? Public IP only will allow us to connect to the EC2 instance from outside. Private IP will not allow. Okay. Now public IP got generated. Public IP got generated. So what machine I have created? A EC2 instance I have created. Now here I have my laptop. Now this is my laptop, my machine. I can say this is my machine. From my machine, I want to connect with this EC2 virtual machine available in the AWS cloud. In the AWS cloud, I created one machine. In the AWS cloud, I created one machine. Now I want to connect with this AWS machine from my laptop. Okay, so this is my laptop. This is my laptop. From my laptop, I want to connect with the AWS EC2 machine, which is using Windows operating system. EC2 virtual machine, which is using Windows AMI. All right. In order to connect with this EC2 instance from my laptop, my lappy. In order to connect with this Windows operating system from my laptop, we are going to use RDP client. What is the mediator between our laptop and AWS EC2 machine? Which is software we will use as a mediator between our laptop and Windows EC2 VM? Which is software we will use? Which is software we will use? Not Mobile Extreme, RDP client. Which is software we are using? RDP client. Are you guys getting my point? Which is software we are using to connect from our laptop to EC2 machine? RDP client. So my laptop is using which operating system? My laptop is using which operating system? Windows. In the Windows, we will have the RDP by default. In the Windows, we will have the RDP by default. That is remote desktop connection. Let's search for RDP. So my laptop is Windows. In the AWS also, I created a Windows machine. Now I want to connect to AWS EC2 machine from my laptop. For that, RDP client I will use as a mediator. Go to your Windows machine, open, search RDP. When you search for RDP, can you see remote desktop connection? Can you search remote desktop connection? Remote desktop connection is available. It is asking to which computer you want to connect. To which computer you want to connect. What is our computer? Where is our computer? Our computer is available in the AWS. From my Windows laptop, I want to connect to EC2 machine. For that, we will use RDP client. RDP is available by default in every Windows machine. Go to remote desktop connection. It is asking name of the computer. To which computer you want to connect. What is the username of that computer? So let us understand What is the username, password of that computer? So if you use connect, select this Windows machine, click on connect. Connect. So how you want to connect? Using RDP client. To connect with RDP client, what is the username? Username is the administrator. What is the address of the computer? This is the public DNS. Public DNS is called computer address. Username. Do we know the password? Do we know the password? Did I select any password to launch this EC2? Guys, did I select any password? We don't know. Do you know the username? Do you know the username? What is the username? Administrator. What is the username? Administrator. What is the address? Can I say address is a public DNS? Can I say public DNS is the address? Public DNS is the address. Username is the administrator. We don't know the password. Now let us see how to get the password. Select the EC2 machine you have created. Click on connect. Click on RDP client. Click on RDP client. There is the option called get password. Get password. Click on browse. Upload your key pair. Windows PEM file we used. Upload that. Upload that key pair. Get password option. Upload the key pair. Decrypt password. This is the password. This is the password. Copy this password. This is the password. This is the password. What is the username? Username is administrator. What is the address? That is a public DNS. Public DNS. Copy this. So this is the address of the computer. This is username of that computer. This is the password of the computer. Now I have my Windows virtual machine details. Address available, username available, password available. How can I connect now? So give the address, computer address. Using RDP client, I want to connect. Give the computer address. Give the username. What is the username? Administrator. Username is administrator. Click on connect. When I'm trying to connect, it is asking the password. So I already decrypted the password using PEM file. Give the password. Click on OK. Now click on yes. Now I am trying to connect to the virtual machine which is created in the AWS cloud. Now see, I'm able to connect to that EC2 virtual machine which is created in the AWS cloud. Virtual machine running in the AWS. From my laptop, I am connecting to that virtual machine which is running in the AWS cloud. Which service I used to create this virtual machine? Which service I used to create this virtual machine? EC2 service. Now see, one virtual machine is ready. One computer is ready. It is asking, do you want to connect to the network? Yes. Network. This is the virtual machine which I have created in the AWS cloud. Now go to this C drive, check how much memory we got for this. C drive, this PC. How much memory we got? What is the default memory? What is the default size for Windows? What is the size we got? 30 GB. So this is the desktop. Nothing is available. So this is my machine. This is my machine. It is created in the AP South 1 availability zone Mumbai region, 1A availability zone T2 micro, public IP, private IP, instance ID, host name. Can I create one file? New file, a text document, ashokit.txt. ashokit.txt. Hi, welcome to Ashok IT. So where is this file created? This file is created in my local system. This file is created in the AWS cloud. This file created in my local system. This file created in the virtual machine. This file created in the virtual machine. Where is this virtual machine? In AWS. So for our project, we need 10 machines. Do we need to purchase 10 machines or we can take 10 machines for rent? For our project, we need 10 machines. Do you need to purchase 10 machines, or you can create 10 virtual machines for rent? We can take for rent. Now you understand what is virtual machine? All right. Now let me minimize this. This is my virtual machine, and this is my actual machine. This is my machine notepad. This is virtual machine notepad. This is virtual machine notepad. This is my machine notepad. See here, this is my computer and this is virtual computer. This is my computer. This is my computer. This is virtual computer. Now I am operating 2 computers at a time. I can write some data here. I can write some data here. So this is my virtual computer and this is my personal computer. From my personal computer, I connected to virtual computer, which is available in AWS cloud. This is my AWS cloud virtual machine. Understand? You can minimize. Now you can operate this machine. You can operate this machine. Are you clear? Are you able to understand how to launch one virtual machine using AWS cloud? How to launch one virtual machine with Windows OS? How to connect to that machine by using AWS cloud machine? How to connect with that by using RDP? Click on OK. I'm closing that. I closed my virtual machine. Now go to instances. What is the current status of this instance now? What is the current status of this instance? It is running. It is running. Okay. Now I want to stop it. Can I stop it? Stop, reboot, terminate. What is the meaning of terminate? What is the meaning of terminate? Terminate means the instance will be deleted. If the instance is deleted, whatever the file I have stored, whatever the file I have created, can I get that file back? No. If you terminate the instance, it will be deleted. You will lose the data also. You will lose the data also. So once your practice completed, just stop it. Once your practice completed, just stop it. Instance got stopped. Instance got stopped. When I want, can I start the instance again? When I want, can I start the instance again? Once I stop it, when I want, can I restart the instance again? Yes, we can restart. When you stop the instance, you will not lose the data. When you terminate the instance, you will lose the data. Now, guys, for this, I have prepared one document, how to launch Windows machine using AWS EC2. So a document is prepared step by step, how to launch the instance and how to connect to the instance, how to connect to the instance, how to use RDP client, how to decrypt the password, how to use RDP, how to connect to that machine. Everything I have documented. Let me upload this document to our website. Let me document this. Let me upload this document to our portal so that you guys can download it. So this is AWS Windows VM launching with EC2. I'm uploading this document, guys. You can download it. You can download EC2 Windows VM launching PDF file. I have uploaded. So you guys can go through that and you can download that file. You can download that file. Windows VM launching EC2. If you click on it, the PDF file will be available for you. You can download that file. You can keep it in your system. By following this document, you can launch EC2 virtual machine with Windows operating system. So today, you people should be able to launch a Windows virtual machine and you should be able to connect to that machine by using RDP. So tomorrow I will tell you how to launch a Linux virtual machine and how to connect to Linux virtual machine by using Mobile Extram as well as by using Putty. Mobile Extram and Putty. Is this clear for all of you? Clear for all of you? Yep. Very good. Very good. Yeah, fine guys. Thank you. So with this, we completed our free classes for AWS. For tomorrow session, new Zoom link will be available. Zoom link I'm uploading in the portal. The people who already completed enrollment process, so they have the access for this AWS course in the portal. You need to join the class from the portal from tomorrow. The people who are not done with your enrollment process, today is the last date to complete, so that you will get the new Zoom link to attend the sessions from tomorrow. Thanks for joining.